we're back again, and just asking you about your thoughts on the president's State of the Union. Specifically, did you feel that the speech was successful?
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah. Actually, about a month earlier, I sent him a letter saying that in order for the American people to think of him as a president and having the majesty of the office of the presidency, he can't give speeches with his head down. He's got to get angry, and I listed a lot of ways in which he could get angry, as most of us are, at Trump. And believe it or not, he did that. He had that kind of a speech, and people said, well, it wasn't enough. He has to talk about his plans for the future and what he's already done. And so in the State of the Union, he did that. He let people know how furious he is at Trump, which is appropriate. It's appropriate to be furious at a man who talks about poisoning our blood, poisoning white people's blood because of Mexicans coming across the border, um, talking about having Russia come in and beat the hell out of European countries who have been our friends for years, fought on our side, on and on. And he did that very well.
Okay,
I gave him an A.
Okay. Now, how did you feel about his responses to some of the heckling?
Yeah, he fooled the hecklers. He was ready for them. I loved the way he started, because he came in with such adoration and praise and cheers while he walked down and hugged the women and shake their men's friend and talk to the men, talk to everyone on his way down, and it was like a prelude to a march of victory. And he got on the stage and said, "Well, I ought to go home now." He was in good humor, and he wasn't fazed by people. I love the fact that he told the Supreme Court off. They were sitting right in front of them, and he was a little more polite than I would have been, because he said, "With all due respect," but he was in good form. He was in good form with a great speech.
Let me just ask you a quick question.
I think it turned his campaign around.
Next month, in April, you will turn 98 years old, correct?
Right.
So, do you feel that a person who's 81 is over the hill to be president?
Well, he's a kid as far as I'm concerned.
A kid?
Yeah, 81. I mean, I'm going to be 17 years older than him.
Yeah.
And I haven't given up. I'm not president, and I wouldn't dream of the. I know the difficulties of being president, but he has good advisors, and you could tell by how they helped him get that speech together. But I heard one of his advisors say he was involved in every sentence and every thought in that speech.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a very brilliant man, and he's persevered through a lot of pain, personal pain and public pain. He's persevered.
Yeah, I mean, age is a factor, but also the experience that he's had. I mean,
yes,
he's learned a lot. He's made mistakes, one of the principal mistakes he ever made was endorsing Clarence Thomas for the Supreme Court when he was chairman of the nominations committee of the Senate.
Which he regretted
Yeah,
later.
I'm sure he regretted. Yeah, he made mistakes, but all in all, he's been an outstanding president.
Yes, he has. He's put a few people on the Supreme Court. He put the first black woman on the Supreme Court.
First black woman and first black woman is a potential president of the United States because she's sitting there as vice president right now.
Yes. So he's made significant changes, and he still has some things to do.
Well, if the president that was closest to him in time, not necessarily in production, was Johnson, but Johnson had to maintain his popularity by going to war in Vietnam, and Trump has Biden has been brilliant in making sure that although we stand up for what we believe and we use military in very defined situations, that he's determined for us to not get into a widespread war. When another president would relish the possibility of going to war for political reasons.
Well, does your family have any connection to the nation called Ukraine?
Yeah, my father was born in what was then called Ukraine, which was also part of Belarus, and his city was in Belarus, called Minsk, and he's very proud of his Russian forebears.
Was he Jewish? Was your father Jewish?
Yeah, my father was Jewish, and he deplored Stalin because Stalin, for one thing, killed his cousin who ran a very productive factory in the Ukraine, and
Your father's cousin or Stalin?
yeah, my father's cousin, and he took over the business and killed my father's cousin. So my father became a Trotskyite, and when Trotsky was killed in Mexico, my father was listening to the radio. I was right next to him, and he pounded the table and he said, "That SOB Stalin did it," and the evidence was that Stalin did it, order the execution of Trotsky, because Trotsky was a political threat.